Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again. Got an absolutely wild story for you here today of a wife who completely loses it after finding out that her husband knew she had been cheating and he was preparing to divorce her ass, okay? Assumedly, anyway. So this is hilarious because you have the woman who obviously has no right getting angry or losing her marbles whatsoever. But she does anyway because the husband found out, he knew, and he was preparing to leave her. Because how dare a man leave a woman who had been cheating on him the entire damn time? Not just any woman, not a girlfriend, but a wife, no less. So this is a dude who's 37. Let's jump into this one. He says, I, a 37-year-old male, wasn't imagining it. Something was off. My wife and I have been married for 9 years. We had a decent marriage. And over time, she became distant, started guarding her phone, lots of quote-unquote girls' nights out, weekend work trips, and vague explanations when I'd ask basic questions. At first, I gave her the benefit of the doubt, thought maybe she was burnt out or stressed or whatever with work, but my gut kept telling me that something wasn't right. Her energy had shifted. You know, when someone talks to you like they're just done, that became our new normal. So right off the bat, this dude has a wife who at some point decided to start going on lots of girls' nights out, weekend work trips, and giving vague explanations of where she'd been, essentially. So what this means is she has a bunch of dudes who she is seeing while she is still married to you. That's all this means. Dudes love, guys, I tell you what, these men love making excuses for their wife's terrible behavior, right? If you have a wife who is going out on girls' nights out, no thank you. Weekend work trips on top of that, vague explanations, you might as well just call it a wrap completely there, okay? If you are married to a woman who's having girls' nights out, guys, my goodness, it is time to perhaps reconsider. Because usually, like the reason why these women are going out is to get attention from men. We'll just leave it at that. Let's continue. He said, I didn't explode, I documented. I never confronted her outright. I knew that if I asked her directly, she would just lie or gaslight me. Instead, I started paying attention. This is totally true, by the way, right? If you confront her immediately, she's just going to lie or gaslight you. I think this is totally accurate. He says, I backed up our shared cloud photos. I installed a second camera app on her old tablet she barely used. I logged timestamps of the night she claimed that she was at work. I screenshotted suspicious texts she accidentally left open, even noted odd charges on our shared credit card, hotel rooms, Uber rides in cities that she wasn't supposed to be in. Over the course of 4 months, I built a quiet little folder on an encrypted USB labeled receipts. So this guy got everything, man. He documented absolutely all of it. He says the evidence was clear. It turns out there wasn't just one guy, there were two regulars, both co-workers. One was married, the other one was single. So he came across two dudes. Even after documenting all this, by the way, I would not be surprised if she was seeing more than two dudes, right? This is the two dudes that he found, okay? And we've got one, both of them were co-workers. One was married, the other one was single. I always find it endlessly funny, guys, when women decide to cheat with married dudes, right? Please, like, if you ever hear from a woman that, you know, the men she dates continue to be in relationships or marriages or whatever, please understand that a lot of these women are actually chasing men specifically who are in the marriages and who are in the relationships. Why? Because these men are more attractive to women because they already have attention from women to begin with, right? I see this all the time. Oh, I didn't know he was married. I didn't know he had a girlfriend. Yes, they did, or at the very least, they strongly suspected. Hilarious how this works. And then usually, by the way, the relationship will implode, and she thinks that she's going to end up with this married guy afterwards. It's really funny because, of course, she's not. She never will. But that's what they have in their heads. So there were texts, photos, even a weird little notes app journal entry she kept where she wrote about how alive it made her feel. Holy hell. That one hit different, not because it was most incriminating, but because it made her sound like she enjoyed hiding it from me. I wasn't angry at first. Not at first, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'd be pretty pissed. right? Throw the woman out immediately. But I would be angry. I don't understand how dudes aren't angry when they hear this stuff. He says she came home from a trip, one that she claimed was a conference. I already knew where she really was, a lake cabin with one of the dudes. I had screenshots of their Airbnb booking, pictures from his Instagram that she wasn't even tagged in, and text logs to match. That night, she was unusually cheerful. She wanted to watch a movie, cuddle like nothing had ever happened, and I played along while I was waiting. I don't know how you could sit there and just like cuddle with a woman after you knew that she was doing this to you. That just makes no sense to me whatsoever. He said, here's the twist. I didn't confront her. She found my USB. I'd hidden it in the back of a drawer behind old tax returns. I'm not sure if she was snooping or just cleaning, but she found it. So she was snooping. As if this woman cleans. Like, let's be real about it. The only reason I know is because I came home from work early and caught her sitting on the floor sobbing. USB plugged into her laptop, everything open on the screen. And she looked up at me like she saw a ghost. I didn't even have to say a word. She completely unraveled. Why would you keep this? You went through my stuff. You were spying on me instead of talking to me. She collapsed into the "you betrayed me too" narrative where she was crying, yelling, even tried to unplug the USB like it would make it all disappear. At one point, she screamed at him, I knew you'd hate me if you ever found out, but I didn't know you could be this cold about it. So what's she doing? She is flipping this all on the dude, right? Making it seem like it was his fault that she was going out here doing all of this. This is a classic manipulator strategy. It's like you come across someone doing something incredibly wrong, okay, you catch them, and then they have the nerve to blame you about it. Like, if you think about it for 2 seconds, obviously it makes no sense. She has no right to get mad at him, but of course she does, because there's no other way, right? She has to try and, deflect this whole situation, and this is the only chance she has at doing it. So of course she does it, even though it's really stupid, right? Rather than take accountability, she just tries to manipulate the guy. He says, I filed for a divorce a week later. That night, I told her that I needed space. I stayed with my brother for a few days. During that time, I spoke to a lawyer, smart move. I backed up everything again and began the paperwork. She begged me not to file, told me she'd change. Yeah, so she still needs his money, probably. That she was just quote unquote lost and didn't know how to ask for help. She offered therapy, offered to go no contact with other men, swore she'd rebuild everything. But how do you rebuild with trust with someone who didn't just lie? They documented their lies like trophies. Here's the thing, like, these people, number one, after doing all of this crazy manipulative screaming crap, what does she do? She offers, therapy, waste of time, offered to go no contact with other men. Women will never do this, by the way, right? Like, they say crap like this, like, oh, I won't talk to any other guys. They always do, man. It might take them like a couple of weeks until, they think that you've forgotten or whatever. But women like this will always be talking to another guy. That is why you cannot marry them, right? Marriage is a scam to begin with, but these women are not even girlfriend material either. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.